They changed her name from Rachel to KNACK-A-LIA because she can wear anything in trousers. Hers is so bad that she has oppressed almost all the men in the village. But it's not entirely her fault, and I'll tell you why in this story. But before I do that, please like and subscribe. I'd also love to know where you're watching from. Let me know in the comments. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this story. Rachel was kind-hearted and hardworking, but people avoided her everywhere she went. No matter how much she tried to live a normal life, something inside her kept pushing her towards men in ways she did not understand. Whenever she stood close to a man, her heart raced, her body shook, and her mind became restless. She did not want these feelings, but they came without warning, like a storm she could not stop. Because of this, people in the village, especially men, began to avoid her. Mothers pulled their children away when she passed. Men warned their sons to run immediately when they saw her. She felt the pain deeply, but she did not know how to explain what she was going through. Whenever she was in a calm moment, she would pray, asking God to remove whatever was troubling her. But the urges only grew stronger. Her life became a lonely battle, and she began to wonder if she was cursed. Before now, she had been a bright, innocent girl. Her laughter filled the air, and her dreams were big. One day, her aunt, Mrs. Ruth, visited the village and admired how smart and hardworking she was. Mrs. Ruth lived in the city and promised her a better life with education and comfort. Rachel's parents, believing this was a blessing, agreed and sent her with her hands, hoping she would grow into a strong and successful woman. Life in the city was exciting at first. She attended school and helped her aunts at home. But things began to change when her aunt's husband, Mr. David, started acting strangely. He would stare at her too long, stand too close, and say things that made her uncomfortable. Rachel tried to avoid him and told herself she was imagining things, but he continued making advances at her, which she always declined. She decided to keep silent because she respected her aunt and did not want to cause trouble. But inside her, fear grew slowly. One evening, Mrs. Ruth was away, and her husband offered Rachel a drink, saying she looked tired from the house chores she had done, insisting it would help her feel refreshed. She thanked him and drank it innocently. Moments later, her body felt weak, her head spun, and her strength left her. She tried to speak, but her voice failed her. He tried to take advantage of her, but thankfully, there was a knock on the door, and before the visitor left, her aunt had returned. She woke up alone, confused and broken. Her heart was filled with fear and pain. She did not know how to explain what had happened, and she blamed herself even though she had done nothing wrong. She locked the memory deep inside her heart, afraid of what speaking up might cause. Days later, Mr. David got another opportunity to carry out his plans when his wife called that she would be coming home late because she had some meetings to attend at the office before coming. Earlier, Rachel had requested that her aunt help her get some stuffs on her way home. When Rachel was done with all her chores, she went to bed but was awakened by Mr. David trying to force himself on her again. Since the meeting was rescheduled for another day, Mrs. Ruth returned home earlier than expected after getting the stuff Rachel requested. She walked straight to Rachel's room to give her what she had requested and saw Mr. David and Rachel together in a position that looked wrong. But she did not wait to see and understand what was really happening. Shocked and angry, she shouted, cried, and stormed out of the house, believing that Rachel had betrayed her. Rachel tried to explain, but Mrs. Ruth refused to listen. Hurt and confused, Mrs. Ruth went to her friends in tears. They filled her heart with anger and hate after she told them what she saw. They convinced her to take action against Rachel. In her pain, Mrs. Ruth followed their advice and accompanied them to a native doctor who gave her a white powdery substance. The next day, she returned home, went straight to Rachel, emptied the powdery substance on her, and kicked her out of the house without hearing from her. Rachel returned to the village, carrying pain she could not explain. She was quiet, withdrawn, and deeply troubled. People noticed she had changed, but no one knew why. Then, strange things began to happen. She started feeling strong urges she could not control. These urges were not love or desire. They felt forced, sudden, and overwhelming, like something was pushing her from inside. She tried to fight it. She avoided people, locked herself indoors, and prayed harder than ever. But the urges grew stronger. When she came close to any man, her body reacted against her will. People noticed and began to talk. They said she had learned immorality from the city. Slowly, the village turned against her. She felt like a prisoner in her own body and her own home. Soon, everyone in the village feared her. Parents warned their children never to go near her. Men avoided her paths. Women insulted her openly. Even her own relatives distanced themselves. Rachel walked alone through life, carrying a burden she did not understand and could not explain either. She cried herself to sleep every night, begging God to free her from whatever had taken over her body. Some old friends who understood something was wrong came to help. They took her to many spiritualists, but all said the same thing, that what was troubling her was greater than them. Sometimes, those assigned to deliver her ended up sleeping with her. Then one day, on her way to the village stream, she saw a man and lost control. She immediately grabbed him from behind, insisting he sleeps with her. He immediately rebuked her, but the urge grew stronger, and she fought intensely to get him to lie with her, but he refused. After a long struggle by the bush path, the man managed to calm her down. He prayed for her and spoke to her calmly, requesting to know why she acted in such a manner. He noticed the shame and pain in her eyes as he asked her story. For the first time, Rachel opened up her heart and told everything: the city, the assault, the rejection, and the strange urges. He listened without judgment and told her that what happened to her was not her fault and that healing was still possible. He introduced himself as Pastor John and told her he would join her in prayers and fasting for her deliverance. During one of the prayer sections, right in the middle of a deliverance service, Rachel collapsed. She was carried and laid on the altar, and other pastors and prayer warriors held hands in circles around her and prayed. Other members present in the church joined in the prayer. While the prayer was going on, what transpired was revealed to Pastor John. He explained what Mrs. Ruth did with the powder she poured on Rachel the very day she kicked her out of her home in anger. That powder had a spell in it and had been responsible for all Rachel's immoral acts. At the close of the church service, Pastor John requested Mrs. Ruth's mobile number, and her presence was requested in the village immediately, but she promised she would be there in 2 days. When she arrived, everything was explained to her, and it dawned on her how she had acted irrationally and had ruined her niece's life. She immediately dropped to her knees and begged for forgiveness. Everyone begged Rachel to forgive her. But as Rachel stood up to lift her hands from her knees, she slumped and was rushed to the hospital, where it was discovered that Rachel was pregnant. Fear filled her heart because she did not know who the father of the child was. But Pastor John encouraged her not to see the child as a curse, but as a gift. Mrs. Ruth also said she would take care of her and the child henceforth. She relocated Rachel back to the city and divorced her husband. Rachel later gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. The news of Rachel's deliverance spread through the village, and people now understood why she suddenly changed when she returned from the city. They realized they had judged her wrongly. Rachel always told her stories wherever there was an event that involved youths and teenagers. She spoke about abuse, silence, spiritual harm, and healing. Many present were moved. Some cried. Many realized they had judged a wounded woman instead of helping her. Rachel's courage gave others the strength to speak about their own hidden pain. The name KNACK-A-LIA was buried, never to be used again on anyone. She was now known as a woman who survived. Mothers began teaching their daughters to speak up, protect themselves, and seek help when they are hurt. The village learned a hard lesson. Not every troubled person is evil, and not every strange behavior comes from a bad heart. Some pain is hidden, some wounds are silent, and some cries are unheard. Never judge a person by their struggle. Everyone is fighting a battle. Never judge without understanding. Never blame the wounded, and never ignore the power of healing and forgiveness. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more interesting stories.